Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do on the inside of her arm here is I'm going to make a scar, and I'm going to use the colloidal product, glue or whatever you want to call it. So I just want to tell you guys a little bit about that. In this case, I have other ones of these, but what you could use, and you know how you don't want to, oops, whoa, what happened? What happened? Let's see, I want to take this off. So a couple things to know about this stuff. This stuff is technically, you wouldn't harm your client if you use it on their skin and then you dunk this back in, because it has like what nail polish has in it, that ingredient. Does anybody know that ingredient that nail polish has? Why we can double dunk our nail polish?
Meta-acrylat?
It's called diethyl ether. Diethyl ether.
So it's alcohol?
So that makes it okay, but in this case, I am going to use this for Jen, but my options would be to use these or pour some of this out on my palette. And the problem is that it does dry fast. And the thing about it is that I have several of these. So, I mean, I'll just probably give this to Jen or, you know, something like that, because I'm going to continue to use this. I just want to talk about the safety. And then just so you know about what the collodion does is it basically really dehydrates the area that you're working on, and it desiccates the skin. So it draws moisture out of the skin and it shrinks up the skin. Okay, so I already cleaned her arm earlier because we did some practice runs with things. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my injury palette, and you guys can use eyeshadow for this, the same. I can show you both ways. And I'm going to take several of these out so I can just grab them and throw them in the trash if I dunk back in to my palette. And I'm going to decide to use this one, this pinky one, because when you ever see a scar and it's just freshly like starting to heal, it looks a little pink inside before it gets really white. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw a line on her in this area. And I don't want the line to be perfect at all. Because scars, we don't get to pick how scars look. And then if I think that's like too much coloration or anything on it, then you can dab it out with another color, like a lighter color, but I'm going to leave it like that for the sake of you guys being able to see. So I kind of went down and it's got like an elbowy looking thing to it. And then I'm going to get more narrow because our scars get more narrow. Okay, so this is a perfect scar. I don't know what the heck she scratched herself on. And then I'm going to throw this in the trash. And then, you know, if I feel like it's too much, I'm going to dab it just a little bit, get some of the, don't want it to be perfect at all because it's just a big old scar she has and it's not perfect the way she cut herself. Okay, then you're going to take your collodium and you're just going to paint right over your scar. Follow the lines that you created. And you want to let each layer that you're doing like dry up so it like shrinks in. And there's also collodium that has collodium ridges that gets really intense ridges on like scars and stuff. And then once you feel like it's dry, you're going to go again. You're going to do this a couple times and it's really going to like sink it in eventually. I'm gonna go outside the lines of it a little bit and let it dry. And it takes a while, but it starts to really shrink up. And then also I did one earlier and I kind of liked it. So I'm going to do a little bit of different version of this too. I did one with a little bit of brown in case you have somebody that might have a little darker skin and they heal a little darker. So again, I'm going to throw this away. I used this one from that palette. And I'm just going to drew this one here. I don't know how she cut herself there, but we'll go with it. And then you're just going to continue to put that on that scar and it's going to shrink in. I'm going to come back to this one and work on that a little bit here. And you guys can see my scar right here. So you want to depend on the kind of skin tones that people have. Go over it again when it dries. This one's not shrinking up that much. A little bit, huh? Starting to on the sides. So it's starting to get really shrinky on the side. But you know what? Your skin's so nice. Like an old skin like mine would just shrivel right up. That's the problem with having somebody with such nice skin. And you just keep going over it and you're going to watch, like this one's looking a little better than the other one. And you just watch your scar. So this is about the last one I'm going to do. I don't want it to be too much. Yeah, this one doesn't look too good, but I like this one. So the skin should start to shrink up and they just look like old wounds. And then I seen somebody that takes some powder. You can, okay, can you guys see? So she's turning, can you guys see how it looks indented? Can anybody tell me yes or no how it, you can see if it looks deeper, right? The way she's turning. That's what you're looking for it to shrink in the skin and look deeper like an old wound. Let's see if that one does the same. So yeah, and then I saw, so that's good, Jen, you did good the way you turned it. Because you guys can't really see what I'm looking at right here, but you can really see the skin start to shrink in. And then I'm gonna take a little bit, they said to take a little bit because the collodion can be a little shiny. So if you take a little clear powder and go over that so it doesn't look so shiny, make sure it's dry. Yeah, it really starts to shrink up looking. And so can you turn your self in again? And you guys can see it just looks like a deep old scar. So you guys, I would recommend playing around with what color you want underneath for your scars that you're going to do, and even what you want your scars to look like. I saw some really good ones on the face. If you're going to do it on the face, of course you want to stay away from the eye. But that does look really good when you bend it in. It looks really deep. So does anybody have any questions about that so far? Yes, no? Okay, so that's the fun way to make scars. Like you can make some really intense looking scars. Again, play around with, I would use probably a lighter pink. I might have used something darker because I always want you guys to be able to see. And then how many layers of the collodion you put over. You're trying to get that look that it was a really deep wound. And this one here I did for somebody that has darker skin. I used a little bit more brown. So any questions so far? Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to show you guys, we're going to turn to this side of your arm now. So just relax. Yeah. We're going to leave, look at your wounds. You've just been messed up. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to use different sponges. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna take two colors out of my palette. I'm gonna take like a, I don't know, this is kind of like a wine type of color here. And I'm going to put it on my palette. And I'm going to clean this off. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the black color and put that over here. I'm going to clean this off. Yeah, that looks good once you, so fun. All right. And I'm going to put this little makeup color out that we picked for her because she's pretty fair. We might use that a little later. So I'm going to put that on my palette as well. Okay. So now that we did that, we did it the right way. We're talking about, I'm going to put a little bruising on her arm, like right in this area. And then I'm going to create a bullet wound right near there. Always make sure you close your lids after you take out what you need. We want to keep safety going on. I'm probably going to use a bunch of sponges. And so I'm going to dip this. You want to start out lighter when you're using these, your colors for your bruising. So hopefully I can just come in. These two colors are exactly the bruising that I did on that girl for the sober prom. I used this like wine type of color and I just put it right onto her skin. Because we looked at like what fresh bruises look like. I know that a lot of bruises when they're a day or two old start to look blue, but fresh bruises look a little more red. Like you hear people say black and blue, but you see some blackness to them. So just doing a little bit of that. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of black. And you really want to mesh that in. Can you guys see that a little bit at all? Yes, no, thumbs up. Okay, and so just putting that little bit of black around, those are what more fresh bruising will look like.
Can you show a little bit closer because that lamp is too light?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
That's
How's
great.
that?
It's perfect.
Can you see how it's starting to look? I can't see what I'm doing right now. That's always how it goes. But anyway, so we started out with that burgundy-like color, and then I'm going to come in with a little bit of black. And that shows like a fresh bruise from that she just got like today when she got shot. Okay, so I did that bruising first for you to see. And I don't know, maybe you can see that a little better. You can't really see the way it indents,
Yeah.
but we can really see it here. It's just like an old wound and it looks really good. Okay, so we've got a little bruising here. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna talk about a bullet wound. So I'm gonna work with my Cinewax now. And the Cinewax, you gotta work with it kind of fast because it can get really sticky. So I'm gonna come in, use my spatula, my favorite word. And I'm gonna get a certain amount. I'm gonna see how much I need. I think I got too much, but who knows? Okay, so I've got about this much of the Cinewax and I'm gonna start to roll it like we used to do with Play-Doh. But you wanna be pretty fast when you're working with it because it can get really sticky. So I'm rolling this. I want it to be about the same width all the way around to look something like that. And then I did this earlier. I went around here just to make it really circular and I can't fit yet. So I can feel it getting stickier. So we don't, my body heat, that's what causes it. So I want it to be round. So again, okay, so I'm using that to make it like round, like a wound. And I'm going to take it off. I did this earlier, and we're going to put it right here on her skin. Try to keep it as circular as I can. Okay, so I just placed it on her skin. Now there is glue that you can get, but I didn't get you guys any glue, so I'm going to do it without glue. So now I'm going to take my spatula, and I'm going to start pushing down on the sides of it so it really sticks to her. And it's hard to work with. It's not the easiest to work with. Try to keep that circular. I'm kind of flattening it out a little bit too as I go. I'm working around the sides. And everybody, can you see that? Yes, no? What I'm
Yes.
doing? Okay. Thank you so much for when you answer me. I appreciate it.
Now it looks like after a very big acne cleanup.
A blister, a big pimple, right? Okay, so I wanted to flatten that out a little bit because bullet wounds do have some lift to it, but not quite as much that it showed. Okay, so I'm starting there. This is what you see when you see somebody get shot. And Miss James and I also practiced these because there was something going on at the police academy and we were going to go do something with that for them. And then we got there and something happened and they didn't need us. But that was the whole reason why we practiced these bullet wounds. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my sponge and I'm going to use a little bit of the makeup to go around the edges of this to cover some of that. So I'm just going to come around here and try to blend that in with the makeup that we chose to use for her.
Miss Salita,
yes.
what could we use if we didn't get the spatula?
Did you guys get the palette and the spatula or no?
I didn't get the palette or spatula.
Okay, you're going to use, do you have any palette? Do you have a paper plate or a plate at home?
Oh, when we got like our first kit with Mr. Drano, we have like a painter's palette.
Use that palette. That's a beautiful palette.
Well,
And use your white spatulas.
Okay.
You can use almost anything. You can use the outside of this. You can use your white spatulas.
Okay, thank
Does that
you.
make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so then I'm going around this with the makeup. I want it to be blended. I don't want to see all that Cinewax going around. Whoops. I'm going all the way around the skin with it. So it looks like I'm going to put some like reds around that. So I want it to look like it's been disrupted. Okay, so once you feel like you're pretty good blended there with that, I'm going to come in now, done with that. I'm going to come in now with, I think I should have got a little bit of pinky maybe. I'm going to put a little pink around here, maybe. Because it's been aggravated, you know. She just got shot.
So she should have a bruise, huh?
Well, so that's why I put the bruise like right above her a little bit. You know, you can put bruising all the way around it too, for sure. I'm going to use a little tiny, just a tiny bit of pink. I need to clean my spatula. I don't know why I call them that either. Like, I think I got that from my mom. I'm going to take a little bit of pink now and go around the wound with it because it's starting to be angry. Kind of connecting it with my bruise above it, right? Can you guys see that coming together? Need a little bit of the black, not too much of that. Oof, I put way too much. Let me see. Then I'm going to come in where the gunshot is, where the actual hole is, and I'm going to start putting some black. So I'm going to use one of these. I'm going to come in and get some of my black. Again, you can use eyeshadow. You can use eyeshadow. You can use lippy. I don't know if you have black lipstick, but you want to make the inside of your bullet hole black first. And then I'm going to take a little tiny bit of it out. I put a lot. That's good. And then now's the time when I'm going to come in with my blood. Now, this is the only blood that we have, and so it doesn't drip that well. But I've worked with Miss James, and I will put some of this blood like in a water bottle and we'll liquefy it so it shows good splatter. But this one's very thick, so that's okay. So I'm going to put some of this out on my palette as well. So this one doesn't show the effect of dripping. So I'm not sure, like I'm going to try that, but I'm not sure how that's actually going to look. But I'm going to take my blood now and I'm going to start putting it in the center. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
How the bullet hole's looking?
Looks disgusting.
Does it? Good. Mission accomplished. That's what I want. And then you can start to like blood spatter, right? I wish this looked drippy, but like I said, it is really thick. Huh?
Scab blood.
Scabby blood.
That's what it's called.
We got to the little wound a little late, right? So this blood's really thick, but that's okay. So I'm dripping it because she's holding her arm that way, and that's the way the blood's dripping. Okay, so that's basically a bullet wound.
Gnarly.
Does anybody have any questions? What do you guys think? Yes, no? And we put some of the bruising here. Now I could do more bruising around that. That's fine. You know, and then what I want to know is, do you guys want to see like a longer wound?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So any questions about this? How to do
No.
it? Okay, so I'm going to make like a longer wound up here. So again, I'm going to get my Cine Wax. Yeah, that looks good. That one looks, I think that one looks better than the one we practiced. You better send, just tell Mike that's what it looks like now. Get your Cine Wax. Okay, what do I do once I have the Cine Wax in my hand, in off the spatula?
Rub it.
Roll it, roll in. So you're gonna roll it as long as you want your scar. And remember, it melts fast. So here we go. Must be getting hot as me in this house. Okay, so you're gonna roll it. How long you want your wound, right? Okay, so I'm gonna make my wound, like my scar, about this long. I'm gonna put it on her like right about here. And you're gonna do the same things. Stay. Doesn't want to stay just yet, but okay. Okay. Then what are you gonna do next?
Spread it.
Thank you. And you know what's really funny is like I get very grossed out in scary movies by what I see, like the blood and everything. And it's like, I don't know why I get freaked out. I know how to do that. So I gotta watch. I've already got into that one a little bit. So you're just gonna spread this. And it's not looking perfect, but that's okay. So that's one. That's all going to be a gash. Now, this gash is going to be open. Let me spread it on the other side because if I don't do that, it won't stay to you. You know, it wants to roll off. There, like I said, there is a glue. I just don't have it. So I'm going to take another one. I'm sorry, I'm putting you in such awkward positions. I'm going to make another one because my gash is going to have my wound is going to have a big gash in the middle. So I'm going to take another one. I'm going to do the same thing, roll it. Got to work fast. I feel this stuff getting as hot as I am. Well, I shouldn't have put it that far over. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Centering myself.
No, it's my fault. What was I thinking? All right. Okay, so I'm going to roll. Okay, good. Finally got a spot to roll. Roll, roll, roll. There we go. I'm getting my second gash. And you're going to just like connect it. And then you're going to flatten it. So this side came out way better than this side did, but we'll flatten that out a little bit. Okay. Once I'm happy, okay, this little piece right here doesn't want to stay. I'm sorry, Jen. I couldn't have put that in the worst spot. Here, let's close that a little bit. They could see. You're being such a, look, I'm going to bleach your hair for her for being such a great model. So that will be good. Right? Okay. So you can think of like how elevated you want your gash to be by how much you put down. Okay. Now, once I do that, what am I going to do next? Does anybody remember what I did next?
A foundation.
Ah, there you go. Good, good. Okay, so we're going to come around with our foundation. And you can see it, the skin's getting a little wrinkly looking around there, which is good. We want it to look like that because the scar pulled. I think that was a good foundation we picked. But you should have options. So you guys can see I left a little open in the middle so she would look like she had a gash.
Shit. Hi. What up?
So once we've done that, then I'm going to put a little bit of black in the center like I have. Okay, just so that it really shows, it helps to show that blood, but I'm not going to put a lot of black on this one because it's not a bullet wound. And we know that bullet wounds have the, from the, you know, the gunshot residue. And so you also can, like, you talk about fallout around the eyes. You can also do fallout on the bullet wound with like powder, like dark powder. So there was fallout or stuff around the bullet wound. So then I'm going to get some of my red makeup and I'm going to start filling that in, putting that around my gash, putting it on the inside. And then I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to also use that same bread the way I did my bruising. And I want to go around my wound with that red because you don't want it to look like there's a wound. So you got to keep going around it until you're happy the way it looks. So see, she's starting to look like, can you guys see it? Is that starting to look like a gash to you?
Yes.
Good one?
I don't know what is gash, so.
Well, somebody took a knife and slashed her.
Ah.
So it's a slasher movie. So once you like, kind of like the way it looks, are you okay?
No,
Okay. Once you're liking the way it looks, when you don't maybe see too much of the Cinewax still or whatever that it is, like maybe come back in with some of your makeup. If you feel like you can see too much of the Cinewax, that's fine. And then we're going to come in and we're going to drip the blood. This time, I'm going to come in with it and see if I can get it to like drip there. Looks good, huh? From here, it looks really good. And then I'm just going to take one of these and I'm just going to like work that around in my, the gash, the wound, the person made a big jagged cut or she cut herself. One time I cut myself on my leg. A car had metal sticking out of it and I cut my leg and I do still have the scar. The scar, if you close, go to the side. The scar on my leg looks like the one on the inside now that she's got. It looks like that one now, but it did look like this. And then you can take your blood and you're just gonna, you know, make it look like it's dripping. You guys will see it will all come together for you when you start working with this stuff. It's so much easier than it seems. And again, just keep playing with it until you're completely satisfied with your wound. If you feel like you need to continue the dark makeup out here, the bruising, whatever you feel like you need to do to make that look as realistic as possible, that's good. What do you guys think? So that's like a straighter gash. We have a straighter gash, we have bruising, we have our bullet wound, and we have our wounds and scars, our scars right here. Okay? That's great, Jen. I'll hold up and I'll take some pictures of that.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have any questions? So the assignment today, I'm going to remove my spotlight. Miss Martinez, you can stop